1 week ago, on a grey and rainy London afternoon, a man walked into a royal palace without an appointment. That man was Andrew Parker Bowles, Camilla's ex-husband. And what he was about to say would set off a chain of events that nobody could have predicted. Princess and received him in a private meeting room. The atmosphere was tense, and was known for her sharp mind and iron composure, rarely letting emotion cloud her judgment. She sat upright, watching Andrew carefully as he took a deep breath and spoke. Camilla, he said, had been secretly building a network of companies, using royal connections to siphon money for personal gain. For 2 years. Right under everyone's noses. And's first instinct was to dismiss it. A bitter ex-husband, desperate for money, pointing the finger at the Queen. It had all the hallmarks of a personal vendetta. But then he started giving details. Specific names. Specific numbers. And something shifted. That evening, and locked herself in her private office and began pulling financial reports she had never looked at closely before. At first, everything seemed routine. The usual charitable funds, event expenses, community projects. But the deeper she dug, the more something felt wrong. And that's when she found it. A £1.2 million allocation for an education project had passed through 3 separate intermediary companies in a single month. Companies with names like Horizon Partners and Royal Legacy Holdings. Names that appeared nowhere in official records and had no transparent operations whatsoever. The money went in. Only some came back. The rest disappeared. And called her most trusted assistant. "Bring me everything," she said. "Every financial report connected to Camilla's funds. Tell no one." What arrived next shocked even her. The same pattern repeated across dozens of transactions. Money flowing out through strangers, traces carefully covered, a small portion trickling back to make things look legitimate. This wasn't administrative error. This was a system. A deliberate, sophisticated system. But here's the question that kept And up that night. Who else knew? To understand that, you have to go back further. Back to where it all began. Camilla had always known her position was fragile. Public opinion had never been kind to her. Certain members of the royal family had never fully accepted her. And years of watching how quickly things could unravel had left her with one deep, persistent fear, that one day, everything could be taken away. So quietly, without anyone noticing, she built herself an insurance policy. She used her most loyal former bodyguards as fronts, people no one would look twice at, registering private companies in investment, real estate, and strategic consulting. These companies became quiet funnels, siphoning money from royal-connected contracts and charitable funds into private accounts. Camilla herself remained invisible in all of it. She once told her most trusted bodyguard, in a cold, steady voice, "We must prepare before everything collapses." But secrets have a way of leaking. A quietly diligent secretary named Richard, while sorting documents late one night, stumbled across files that didn't add up. Company transfers. Unusual money flows. He said nothing, too afraid of what Camilla might do. But he remembered everything. Then Andrew found out. Not deliberately, but through a careless slip in a private meeting with Richard. One offhand detail led to another, and Andrew, with his instincts and existing suspicions, pieced the whole picture together. He went to Camilla directly, furious, demanding she use the network to bail him out of his collapsing finances. "If you don't help me," he told her, "I'll bring this all to light." Camilla didn't flinch. She looked at him and said, quietly and coldly, "Go ahead and try. Who will believe a bankrupt ex-husband?" And that moment, that cold dismissal, sent Andrew straight to Princess Anne. But what nobody realized yet was just how dangerous Camilla's next move would be. Back in the present, and small team of 3, a retired financial expert, a royal lawyer, and a loyal operative, had hit a wall. The surface evidence was damning, but the deeper documents were either altered, deleted, or hidden behind offshore accounts with anonymous owners. Whoever had set this up had covered their tracks well. Too well. So and made a bold decision. She sent her operative directly to Edward, Camilla's most trusted former bodyguard and the public face of the entire company network. A meeting was arranged, framed as a business discussion. Edward was guarded, professional, revealed nothing. But as he shook hands and settled into his chair, And's operative quietly planted a small, voice-activated recording device under the table. Then he left, looking like a man who'd gotten nothing. But he had everything. When Camilla found out that a meeting had taken place, that and was circling closer, she went pale. For just a moment. Then the fear turned to resolve. She summoned Edward immediately. Erase the records, she told him. Transfer ownership. Alter the dates. Burn anything unnecessary. And then came the move that changed everything. Within hours, Camilla had drafted new documents, carefully forged, transferring full ownership of the company network to Andrew Parker Bowles. If everything unraveled, Andrew would be holding the bag. A desperate, debt-ridden ex-husband trying to destroy his former wife. The public would believe it instantly. She was certain of that. What she didn't know was that beneath the table, in Edward's private office, the recording device was still running. That night, and sat alone in her office in the glow of a desk lamp, rain hammering against the window. She pressed play. Camilla's voice filled the room, every order, every detail of the plan to frame Andrew, every instruction to erase and forge and redirect, and listened without moving. When it ended, she whispered, "She's not just greedy. She's willing to destroy her own family to save herself." And called King Charles that same night. An urgent meeting.
No dilas.
And so 3 people gathered in a small, private room at Buckingham Palace, Charles, and Camilla, and played the recording. Every word. When the room fell silent, Camilla had turned white. She tried to speak. She called it fabricated, blamed Andrew, kept her voice as steady as she could manage. But it was cracking. And laid out everything, the transaction records, Richard's testimony, the recording. Step by step. No room to maneuver. Charles sat in silence for a long time, his face lined with something beyond exhaustion. Then he looked at Camilla and said quietly, "How could you do this? I trusted you." The confrontation ended with Charles announcing an immediate internal financial review, all unofficial support cut, and Camilla facing a full investigation. She left the room barely holding herself together, the composure she had maintained for years finally gone, and stood at the window as London stretched out below her in the dark. The conspiracy had been exposed, but the damage it left behind, the fractured trust, the quiet wounds, those wouldn't heal nearly as quickly. And when the public eventually learned what had happened inside those palace walls, the questions they would ask about the royal family would cut far deeper than any scandal before.